Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson. Also on the BrightShine right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the county sheriff. It's in the state of Tennessee. Today's date is early Monday morning, January the 5th, 2026. The time is 12:16 a.m. First, thank my family, my support for your continued encouragement. Continue to keep myself employed in this Memphis tri-state area. I'm continuing to further my education by studying business administration, contract, and marketing. At the present time, I took a break from going to school. In the future, I will be going back to school, and I'm continuing to study business administration, contract, and marketing, and earn my social degree as well as other degrees. Now I'm starting my Facebook Live. Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson. Also on BrightShine right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the county sheriff, state of Tennessee. Today's date is early Monday morning, January the 5th, 2026. Time 12:17 a.m. First, I thank my family, my support for your continued encouragement support. Continue to keep myself employed in the Memphis tri-state area. Continue to further my education by studying business administration, contract, and marketing. Present time, took a break, going to school in the future. I will be going back to school. Continue to work toward earning my social degree in business administration, contract, and marketing, as well as other degrees. Now, first, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Son of God, for all the blessings and the guidance He provides us all with. Continue to pray about natural disasters. Continue to pray about war. That there be end to war, and that we can have peace for all human beings, and that all things, all that God has created, be respected, and so by us as humans, and so continue to pray. Now, I want to say, I hope and pray that any and everybody was able to celebrate New Year's, the New Year coming in, and that you had a safe and happy New Year's Day celebration. And I also hope and pray that you was able to continue to have a happy Hanukkah and happy Kwanzaa. And I can say for myself that I had a safe and happy New Year's Day celebration. Was able to celebrate New Year's, on New Year's Eve, and after I got off work, and celebrate New Year's Eve and brought the New Year in, and had the day off on New Year's Day, and I know I'm starting my video at night. I wasn't intending on starting my video. Don't think I was intending on being up at 1 something in the morning, 12 o'clock in the morning. I had to work on, not Sunday, but Saturday. I had to work on Saturday. And so then, they kind of affected my schedule and everything. However, still making my video as I wanted. And I'm at the time I wanted to be. Not bad. had to get myself together and everything, but before 12:30, so about 15 minutes after, but I had to make sure I was ready. There's one thing I don't like to do is you know, forget stuff, and then at the last minute when I'm getting ready to start my video, I got to sneeze. So that threw me off another 10 minutes. That threw me off another 10 minutes. So, but still, you know, I was able to make my video. And like I said, though, I hope and pray that any and everybody had a safe and happy, you know, New Year's Day celebration, and you know, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, and so on and so forth. Happy holidays, you know, whatever, you know, and because this is a new year, and so I'm glad to be able to make my video. I thank God that I'm able to still be here to make my video, you know, and you know, be able to, you know, still be able to live and give thanks to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the Son of God, for the blessings and the guidance He provides all of us with. what I was looking at, being that this is New Year, I want to make sure I start the New Year off right. The Holy Bible. Now, this is the King James Version I'm reading from. Just want to take a few passages. But still, King James Version of the Holy Bible. Start the year off right. 2026. We over here in the book of Matthew. That's the New Testament. We're in chapter 7. Going to take a few verses. I'm just going to read these verses and you can go on from there. We're going to be at chapter 7, verse number 1. Judge not, that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. Now, let me see what else. Let me read this over here. We still over in chapter 7. We're going to be over here in verse 24. We're in chapter 7 now. We're in the book of Matthew, chapter 7. Now we're over here in verse 24. Now I just read chapter 7, verses 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. From chapter 7, Matthew chapter 7, verses 1 through 5. Now we still over in the book of Matthew, chapter 7. We over in verse 24. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. So you can't stand on a lie. You got to stand on truth. The only rock I know is truth. And saying is a lie. So you can go ahead and lie. I guarantee you, your house won't fall. So I just got to read again. The King James Version of the Holy Bible. The book of Matthew, chapter 7. I started with verses 1 through 5. And I also read from the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verses 24 through 27. It's the new year. We're going to bring in the new year right. So like I said, we're going to bring in the new year right. So as I stated previously, earlier, we're going to try to start the new year all right. We got some Bible verses in. We continue to promote the Catholic Church and Eastern Orthodox Catholic Church, Oriental Orthodox Catholic Church. We're going to get it started in New York right. And make sure we don't overlook anything. Going to continue to talk about prehistoric religion and traditional ancient African religion indefinitely. It's a new year, and being that the new year is coming in, going to continue to talk about prehistoric religion, traditional ancient African religion indefinitely. And in saying also, don't forget math. Don't forget mathematics. Now, being that it's the new year, so like I said, prehistoric religion. Now I'm just going to read a little some of this artificial intelligence overview. Prehistoric religion, inferred from archaeology, centered on shamanism, animism, belief in spirits and nature, ancestor worship, and fertility cults, dealing with life's big questions, like death, survival, and the cosmos through rituals, cave art, etc. Figurines like Venus figurines and burials, suggesting a deep spiritual framework with trance-based experiences, animal symbolism, and possibly human animal sacrifice to appease forces or ensure prosperity before written traditions emerge. Now you have key beliefs and practices. Animism, the earliest likely belief seeing spirits in animals, plants, and natural phenomena, with humans seen as part of nature, not separate. Shamanism, practices involving trance, ecstatic experiences, and interaction with spirit worlds, evident in art depicting animals with projectiles. Ancestor worship and afterlife, deliberate burial of the dead, sometimes with grave goods, suggests belief in an afterlife or spiritual continuity. Fertility cults, female figurines like Venus figurines, often associated with fertility, childbirth, and abundance, representing deities or powerful spirits. Rituals and sacrifice, evidence of animal and possibly human sacrifices, often linked to appeasing deities, ensuring hunting success, or agricultural cycles. Archaeological evidence, cave paintings, art depicting animals, hunters, and symbolic figurines. Savet Cave, possibly part of shamanistic rituals or storytelling. Figurines, small statues, especially female figurines, especially female figures, found in burials and shrines. Burials, intentional burial of the dead, sometimes with grave goods or in specific arrangements. Ritual sites, sacred groves, ceremonial centers, and caches of preserved animal remains, skulls, bones. Evolution, hunter-gatherer era, focus on animism, shamanism, and nature spirits. Agricultural revolution, development of settled villages led to more structured rituals, earth deities, and societal hierarchies reflected in religion. Mathematics. Mathematics is a field of study that discovers and organizes methods, theories, and theorems that are developed and proved for the needs of empirical science and mathematics itself. There are many areas of mathematics which include number theory, the study of numbers, algebra, the study of formulas and related structures, geometry, the study of shapes and spaces that contain them, analysis, the study of continuous changes, and set theory, presently used as a foundation for all mathematics. Mathematics involves the description and manipulation of abstract objects that consist of either abstractions from nature or, in modern mathematics, purely abstract entities that are stipulated to have certain properties called axioms. Mathematics uses pure reason to prove the properties of objects through proofs, which consist of a succession applications of deductive rules to already established results. These results, called theorems, include previously proved theorems, axioms, and in case of abstraction from nature, some basic properties that are considered true starting points of the theory under consideration. Mathematics is essential in the natural sciences, engineering, medicine, finance, computer science, and the social sciences. Although mathematics is extensively used for modeling phenomena. The fundamental truths of mathematics are independent of any scientific experimentation. Some areas of mathematics, such as statistics and game theory, are developed in close correlation with their applications and are often grouped under applied mathematics. Other areas are developed independently from any application and are therefore called pure mathematics, but often later find practical applications. Historically, the concept of a proof and its associated mathematical rigor first appeared in Greek mathematics, most notably in Euclid's Elements. Since its beginning, mathematics was primarily divided into geometry and arithmetic, the manipulation of natural numbers and fractions, until the 16th and 17th century, when algebra and infinitesimal calculus were introduced as new fields. Since then, the interaction between mathematical innovations and scientific discoveries has led to a correlated increase in development of both. At the end of the 19th century, the foundational crisis of mathematics led to the systemization of the axiomatic method, which heralded a dramatic increase in the number of mathematical areas and their fields of application. The contemporary mathematics subject classification lists more than 60 first-level areas of mathematics. Mathematics. Now that's an artificial intelligence overview. Mathematics is the study of quantity, structure, space, and change using logic and abstract reasoning to find patterns and solve problems, and is fundamental to science, engineering, and finance. Its core branches include algebra, geometry, calculus, and number theory, with applications in both pure theoretical and applied practical fields like statistics, computer science, and economics. The core branches: algebra, the study of symbols and the rules for manipulating them, including structures like groups, rings, and fields. Geometry, the study of shapes, sizes, positions, and properties of space. Calculus, the study of continuous change, including differentiation and integration. Number theory, the study of integers and their properties. Other key areas: analysis, deals with limits, continuity, and change, includes calculus. Topology, study properties of spaces that are preserved under continuous deformation. Probability and statistics, the study of chance and data analysis. Logic, the study of reasoning and proof. Combinatorics, the study of counting and arrangements. Pure versus applied mathematics. Pure mathematics, focusing on abstract concepts and developing new theories, often for its own sake. Applied mathematics uses mathematical tools to solve problems in other fields like physics, engineering, biology, and finance. Why it's important: develops critical thinking, logical reasoning, and problem solving skills. Provides the language for all sciences and is essential for technology, data science, and finance. Now, being that it's a new year and continuing to stand on truth. People have been lying about this Gnostic nonsense for years. The Jewish community and the Catholic community have been for years promoting the truth, standing on truth. At colleges and universities all over the world. This Gnostic nonsense is being looked at, it's being investigated. The scholars at the college and university all over the world, they do not know the exact beginning of this Gnostic. They don't know where it came from exactly. They guess. They guess it started when, where, what, how, why. But they don't know the exact answers to their question. Where it come from, who started it, why did they start it, so on and so forth. The scholars at the college and university all over the world, they do not know the exact origin of Gnosticism. That's a serious thing to be saying. That the scholars at the college and university all over the world, they do not know the exact origin of Gnosticism. Rabbi Akiva. This is where we at. Akiva's halakha. I'm going to read this. Rabbi Akiva. But this was not sufficient to obviate all threatening danger. It was to be feared that the Jews, by their facility in accommodating themselves to surrounding, even then a marked characteristic, might become entangled in the net of Grecian philosophy, and even in that of Gnosticism. So, make sure you don't forget. The reason why I did that first of the year, I want to make sure it's in my video at the very first of the year. Rabbi Akiva. And what did he say about Grecian philosophy and Gnosticism? He didn't condone it. Just like the Catholic Church don't condone Gnosticism. That's the reason why St. Irenaeus, the Bishop of Lyons, together with St. Irenaeus, the Bishop of Antioch, wrote their 5-volume book, and Versus Heresies, against heresies. That's the reason why St. Athanasius, the Bishop of Alexandria, in the year 367 AD, went around and collected all that Gnostic theologian writing and destroyed it. Now, some of that Gnostic theologian writing didn't get destroyed, as we know. It didn't get destroyed. Some idiot took some copies of that Gnostic theologian writing and buried it. In 1945, that Gnostic theologian writing that they got buried got found. You didn't find anything, because Gnosticism ain't nothing but a lie. This is reading by the church fathers. They told you that they knew who these Gnostics were. They were some heretic Jews. The church fathers sat there and watched them heretic Jews standing around telling them they're going to teach Gnosticism. And the church fathers, they knew who they were. They were some heretic Jews. And you know that the Jewish community have the belief that there's one supreme being. And that's what them heretic Jews were trying to do. Trying to lie. They said there was one supreme being. Then said there was another deity beneath the supreme being. And they called him Demiurge. It's a lie. They lying. They lying. So don't listen to the Gnostic, because it's a lie. Talking about some one supreme being, then there's another supreme being, then it's one supreme, it's another deity beneath the supreme being. The demiurge. You lying. That's how you know they lying. See, the scholars telling you they looked all over the world. They still look all over the world. Scholars at colleges and universities all over the world. And they still can't find the exact origin of Gnosticism. Because it's a lie. They lying. And they try to use violence. See, anytime you have a stupid person, they call themselves a Nazi, they do all this stupid stuff. They, first of all, they self-destructive. They self-destructive. And destructive. They're trying to hurt the cats and the dogs, the puppies and the kittens. They're trying to destroy wildlife. They're trying to destroy nature. They're trying to destroy the environment. Yeah, they're trying to destroy the North and the South Pole. That's what they're doing. Trying to destroy the North and South Pole. Trying to espouse lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, transsexual. See, that's what this stupid Gnostic do. They broadcasting anal sex. That's what they do. That's what the Gnostic do. Because he's stupid. He's stupid. So I'm going stupid. Don't listen to Gnostic. Because there ain't no such thing. There ain't no such thing. Now, continuing on. I want to make sure that when I leave my video, I want to make sure this is the first of the year. No, you ain't finna tell me that. No. You got a big library. You got a library in every major city in the United States of America and U.S. territory. Go to the library. Now we over here on this Chicago gang history website, talking about the notorious street gangs, the conservative vice lords. Now, Now, so now what I was looking at is like I said, I'm on this website and I'm looking at this, and like I said, you know, it's a lot of, like I said, a lot of history. I'm not gonna spend too much. What time is it? Yeah, yeah. Not gonna spend too much time on that, but now there's a lot of vice lord history, conservative vice lord. I'm gonna get to the point I want to make. Here it is, 2025, and conservative vice lord, as well as individuals claiming some kind of vice lord. But I first, see, that's the reason why I did what I did with this Gnostic nonsense. See, I want to make sure that when you lie, you can't get away with lying. You see, that's what happened. That's what happened. People try to lie. And that's what they try to lie about. Religion. And being more specific. They try to lie about this Gnostic nonsense, which is no such thing. Just some junk that they made up. Some heretic Jews. Now, when it comes to the conservative vice lord in Chicago, in the history of the conservative vice lord, that's one of the things it's been a problem is lying about narcissism, because there's no such thing. But being that here we are in this 2025, want to make sure that you get the point across. People say and do things. People do the wrong thing for the wrong reason. Just like that Crip gang, that Blood gang, individuals who were living down south went out to Los Angeles, California for no reason. You did the wrong thing for the wrong reason. Now, I'm going to read this little part here about the conservative vice lord. You can go to the website, ChicagoGangHistory.com, and you can read about the conservative vice lord as well as other gangs or organizations. But I want to make sure I get specific and get to the point that I want to make sure that you don't never, ever take people for granted. Now, I'm going to read this part here. The Conservative Vice Lords, 1964, from the autobiography. From the source. A Nation of Lords, the autobiography of the Vice Lord, second edition. Now, I'm going to read this part about the Conservative Vice Lord, 1964. In July 1964, when Edwin Perry, Bobby Gore, Alfonso Alford, Leonard Calloway, and J.W. were hanging out on 16th Street, drinking bottles of wine and throwing the bottles into vacant lots in the street. Younger vice lords were coming around that night, talking about smashing rival gangs. They were already beaten to a pulp. Some of those gangs were already asking for mercy, to not take any more punishment, but there was nothing else to do in the neighborhood but be big and bad. This is until the older guys came up with an idea based upon how they were seeing the destruction and damage they had caused in the community. The guys decided on an idea after some debating to go about opening legitimate businesses and working to better the community. This was a major breakthrough for the Vice Lord, and on that night, they became conservative Vice Lords. Once again, source, A Nation of Lords, the autobiography of the Vice Lords, second edition. In 1964, the Vice Lord was so large, it became impossible for even great leaders like Alfonso Alford or Edwin Perry to directly lead all these young lords all over the West Side. For the first year from 1958 to 1964, the Vice Lord didn't really claim certain territory. They simply moved about the West Side and terrorized any other gangs away from trying to establish certain territories. It was finally in 1964 that the conservative Vice Lords established a set piece of territory at the intersection of 16th Street and Lawndale. In the North Lawndale neighborhood, this became their headquarters. This was, of course, only the headquarters of the conservative Vice Lord, but not the whole Vice Lord nation, as now the Vice Lord nation was divided into different factions starting in 1964. The first order of business was for the Vice Lord to put a stop to the mayhem around them. Vice Lord worked as mediators to stop violence and put an end to gang wars. Vice Lords even officially stopped fighting with Egyptian Cobras, which allowed Vice Lord to to move into the K-Town section of the North Lawndale neighborhood, west of Pulaski Road, and this allowed them mobility to move into the West Garfield Park community. Eventually, vice lords acted as kind of like police or guardian angels watching over businesses and people in the neighborhood, so harm would not come. The challenge of all this was the police still had a negative outlook on the vice lord, and young men still felt the despair of not having opportunities to succeed. This still led them to crime. The vice lord knew the best thing they needed on the west side was its own economy with businesses that could invest in the community and bring employment for youths. This part of the city was barren and was a complete slum due to extreme economic poverty. Without revenue generating businesses, not enough city tax dollars could go into renovation and maintenance to the neighborhood, leaving the area deteriorating. Prior to 1964, vice lords had branches and or sections in North Lawndale, East Garfield Park, Cabrini Green, and the near west side. Vice lord groups were not deep in the sense of having strong individual identity. Therefore, they claimed rather generic names, named after Chicago streets they were from, like the Congress vice lord that were founded by Billy Washington, the Kedzie, Albany Terrible vice lord, Cermak vice lords, Independence vice lords, Lake Street vice lords, Madison vice lord, Maypool vice lord, Jackson vice lord, rest in peace Douglas Ridgeway vice lord, 12th Street vice lord, 15th Street vice lord, 16th Street vice lord. When the vice lord nation was reorganized in the summer of '64, it became agreed upon for these different vice lord groups to have more pronounced identities and to be governed almost completely independent. It became impossible to have just one man or one group of men run a nation of thousands, especially now that vice lords were migrating into other parts of the city. Some of these earliest new names that derived from these older groups were the traveling or traveler vice lords, renegade vice lords of 16th Street, the warlords created by Stupid, Dino, and Bollock, conservative village vice lord of Pulaski Road, Seven Crown Syndicate vice lord of K-Town, Chocolate Corner vice lord, Ambrose vice lord, Black Orpheus vice lord, Invisible vice lords, Village vice lord, Player vice lord, and the City vice lord. These were some of the 26 factions of vice lords. All these groups operated individually, and many of them didn't even know who Alfonso Alpha even was. In the year 1965, George T. Sims Jr. was appointed commander of the Fillmore District and the first black commander of that district as well. The older vice lords used this appointment to their advantage to further their new direction. The vice lord leaders wanted to speak with Sims and inform him about their new direction and for suggestions to steer youth away from crime and gangbanging. After this, the streets of North Lawndale slowly began to improve. In the year 1966, the vice lord new calls were bringing in more positive attention as they began to work very closely with Egyptian Cobras, Black Peace Stones, and Black Disciples on bettering their community and putting an end to violence. In the summer of that year, Martin Luther King came to Chicago and stayed in North Lawndale to help protest during the West Side riots of 1966. Martin Luther King planned a march through the mostly white areas of the South Side of Chicago in protest. The vice lords, disciples, and stones were ready to march alongside Dr. King, but after a remark, excuse me, Dr. King, but after a remark was overheard from one of King's men that they didn't need gangbangers to help, Evan Perry gave one quick signal with his hand, and all the gangs dispersed and withdrew aid. Later that night, Dr. King summoned Evan Perry, Bobby Gore, and a few other leaders to where he was staying and told them he didn't back their statement about not needing the gangs for support. Instead, he expressed that he needed them, and after that, the Vice Lord and their allies marched alongside Dr. King. After this march, the Vice Lord started to get major attention this summer as groups were coming to North Lawndale to speak to the Vice Lord and admire their progress. The Deacons of Defense, Ram, Act, as example, came to meet the Vice Lord, and this is what got the ball rolling. Everyone could come meet the Vice Lord at the new clubhouse that opened a little early that year at 3655 West 16th Street, 16th and Miller. The older Vice Lords scrapped up all the money they got from hustling over the years and pooled it all together to open this pool room. This became the first legitimate conservative Vice Lord building in history. And it was made possible by Vice Lord members' hard-earned money and not government grants. But the grants were soon to come. The Source, A Nation of Lords, the autobiography of the Vice Lord, second edition. Leading off the new year in 1967, Chicago area was sacked with horrible snowstorms and blinding blizzards that left much of the city buried. The blizzard was so bad that cars couldn't even move about in the city, which provided a perfect lawless environment for young Vice Lord. In the mid-60s, older Vice Lords struggled to contain the younger Lord, and this blizzard made it much worse, as now the young Lords had a blast ripping off one store after another, stealing, looting, and burglarizing the Jewish-owned businesses. Some of the older Vice Lords even got in on the action. The problem with this was it drew negative attention to the Vice Lord and drove out more business owners out of the neighborhood even after the winter was over. This brought negative attention, but this negative attention turned into a positive, as now Commander Sims was concerned that the summer of 1967 would become a repeat of the summer of 66. Commander Sims arranged a meeting with Vice Lord leaders to discuss how to prevent chaos. At this meeting will also be David Dowling from Newbury, Massachusetts, of the Trans-Century Corporation, who was sent to 11 cities across the nation to investigate working with impoverished areas and conducting research. Dowling's research was key to the government's decision or other organizations linked to the government granting money to the Vice Lord. David Dowling moved to North Lawndale and lived on these streets among Vice Lord. Dowling interviewed Vice Lord all over the neighborhood and helped the conservative Vice Lord form Operation Bootstrap, which was a coalition of CBLs, Egyptian Cobras, and Roman Saints that were geared toward working with West Side major corporations to prevent riots this summer that would cost these companies millions of dollars. These companies bootstrap work with were Sears Roebuck, Ryerson Steel, Ellison Bell, Western Electric, and others. During that summer, Vice Lord, Cobras, and Saints policed the neighborhood and broke up gang meetings and even stopped the Black Panthers from creating a plan to destroy businesses and begin looting. There were challenges that summer and scandals rocked the city and the nation that could have easily triggered more rioting by the CBL-led Operation Bootstrap. Stop the violence because they had a bigger plan in mind. Source, A Nation of Lords, the autobiography of the Vice Lord, second edition. The conservative Vice Lord began to come to a full realization that burning down neighborhoods and fighting the white man was not the way to go anymore. From the years of 1958 and 1964, they violently revolted against society. But now the mindset had changed. Vice Lord realized that fighting the government and white people only brought negative images to not only their organization but to the black man. It became time to show power in a different way by showing restraint and asking for help from the city and government. Vice Lord wanted to see black-owned businesses, jobs for blacks, clean, safe streets, and they knew that violence was not the answer to achieving these goals. This is mostly long lost history that is buried and underpublished. A Nation of Lords is an excellent autobiography that tells the whole story about the full Vice Lord intention. But sadly, most of the general public never picked up a copy of this book, so I will continue sharing highlights from the book blended with my personal knowledge, so you as the reader can really understand what the Vice Lord Nation was really trying to accomplish here. I strongly recommend A Nation of Lords, but I will cover some major highlights as I already have done so far. The Vice Lord struggle has often been in the same class as the Black Panther or even the Black Peace Stone, but this is different because the Vice Lord had the goal of fully working with the white man and the government, police, etc., to get a helping hand to rebuild the North Lawndale community and create a sustainable economy. They were hoping this model would then spread to the rest of the black ghettos citywide, then eventually help all poor people of all colors. The ultimate failure rests upon the city and the mayor at the time that didn't hear enough to Vice Lord pleas for assistance with change. Now, CVL Incorporated. Before the summer of 1967, Alderman George Collins promised that if the Vice Lord would keep riots off the street that summer, he would help CVL open an ice cream parlor. As the summer progressed, not only did Vice Lord prevent rioting, they even set up division within themselves that dealt with education, law, order, and justice. On September 11, 1967, Alderman Collins lived up to his promise and incorporated CVL Incorporated as a non-profit organization and began opening up a storefront at 16th and Lawndale, which brought the opening of Teen Town later. David Dowley had just submitted his report in November to the Trans-Century Corporation, which was a major piece to convince the federal government to give money to CVL Incorporated. Dave was then trying to get the Rockefeller Foundation to fund the 15,000 Teen Town needed to open, which should have been simply due to the fact it didn't need major committee's approval. After several negotiations with the YMCA and bootstrap, the money was at last granted in February of 1968, and Teen Town opened on April 4, 1968. YMCA acted as an auditor for all monies CVL would receive to make sure the gang used the money in the places they promised to use it, but CVL leaders needed to make it clear that the YMCA was not to get the money directly and then give it to CVL. Also, CVL wanted to assure that Bootstrap was a separate organization and not to get the funds either. Sadly, on the same day Teen Town opened and the big announcement was to go out, the assassination of Martin Luther King quickly stole the headlines and diverted attention away from this colossal moment. To make matters worse, rioting went on uncontrollably on the west side as everything burned. Vice Lord decided not to partake in the rioting as an organization, but they did nothing to stop it like they did in the summer of '67. The store owners never showed any gratitude for the previous summer, so the Vice Lord just stayed out and let it all burn while they protected Teen Town and the pool hall. Rioters only targeted white-owned businesses anyway. After the riots, white business owners stopped doing business in the area. The Vice Lord opened a relief station right after the riots at 3720 West 16th Street to pass out food and supplies to hundreds of families affected by the riots. Source: The Nation of Lord, the autobiography of the Vice Lord, 2nd edition. So I ain't gonna read no more. You can read about the history of the Bible, Lord. Let me see what time it is. But the point is this. See, I be knowing that in Chicago, as of right now, see, individuals who've been misled try to use that name of my library, Gnostic. Stupid individuals, ignorant individuals, that what fools do. Make a complete fool out of themselves. And then try to make you be a fool with them. So, because they don't want to be a fool by them damn self. The conservative vice lord don't need to be letting these individuals do nothing like that. You got these individuals calling themselves four-corner hustlers. And some of the conservative vice lords like Walter Wheat, who was murdered unjustly murdered. And individuals call themselves supporting individuals like this Angelo dude that was involved, calling himself a leader. That punk wasn't no leader. He got what he deserved at the end. But it's really unfortunate Walter Wheat was murdered. And not just Walter Wheat, but because of Walter Wheat being murdered, the influence that those individuals who was behind the murder of Walter Wheat had on other individuals, and called themselves gonna get together and group up together. And they walking around in Chicago right now. And it's not supposed to be that way. So this is the reason why I do the things I do. I make sure that conservative vice lord don't, first of all, don't be involved in nothing like that. And don't be misled or influenced by this Gnostic nonsense. Don't be intimidated by these bitches walking around like these so-called Bloods and Crips and this gangster disciple who should have never got away. Should have never got away. And this black gangster new breed should have never got away. The so-called Egyptian cobra should have never. Just like the damn Roman saint. You don't even see a Roman saint today. But that Gnostic nonsense been a problem. Don't let it be a problem. It's been a problem. Don't let it be a problem. Don't let it be a problem. Don't let none of it conservative vice lord, or don't let nobody call themselves a four-corner hustle and walk around and do the things that's being done. And they go for the rest of these so-called vice lords walking around. Don't never, ever let anybody get away. And they go for the Black Princeton, they go for Black Disciple, as well as that so-called Mickey Cole. Evan Pepperlo Perry was real. Evan Pepperlo Perry, true. That's what you stand on, true. You don't let nobody disrespect Evan Pepperlo Perry. You don't let nobody disrespect Bobby Gore. You don't let nobody disrespect Alfonso. That's not right that Alfonso was shot. Just like it wasn't right for Bobby Gore to go to jail, unjustly in prison, went to jail for no reason, didn't commit no crime, spent 10 years in jail, but fortunately his sentence was overturned. Regrettably, the man went to prison for no reason. Just like a lot of men, unjustly convicted. Think about Minister Rico. Same thing. That Gnostic nonsense is a lie. It's a lie. Here it is. This man spent time in prison, gets out of prison, in his 80s. Don't let that Gnostic nonsense be a problem. It's been a problem. Don't let that Gnostic nonsense be a problem. Rabbi Akiva, that's the reason why I do the things I do. Rabbi Akiva told you, don't let that Gnostic, that Grecian philosophy be an influence on the Jewish community, and that Gnosticism. One of the most respected rabbis in the Jewish community. He told you right then and there, and even before him, the Jewish community, they did not condone that being a heretic. They did not condone heresy. The Catholic Church does not condone being a heretic. And they showed you. St. Irenaeus, the Bishop of Lyons, together with St. Ignatius, the Bishop of Antioch. They showed you. They don't condone it. St. Athanasius, the Bishop of Alexandria, he shows you. Don't condone it. St. Epiphanius, the Bishop of Salome, he told you in the Panorama about all this Gnostic as well as this pagan. See, you can't get away with that nonsense. You can't get away with life. Now, in the past, Black/African American were denied education. You didn't even know what the word gang means. But everybody everybody worrying about being a gangster. The word gang means go. You couldn't even read a dictionary. But you run around trying to be a gangster. Don't know what a prefix is, don't know what a suffix is. That's the reason why so many Black/African American who was in this tri-state area, the state of Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, as well as these other states down, Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, Missouri, went out to Los Angeles, California. See, with all that stuff that was going on in Chicago, the vice lord, see, this is where some of these individuals got this thought in their mind. See, what was going on in Chicago, see, some people, because you had people who had families just like my family, my mom and dad, my grandmama and granddad, on both my mom and dad's side, they were from Mississippi. And then had family members who were related to my mama and my dad, moved to Chicago. See, this is how you know it was people who were living in this area going out to Los Angeles, California. You do the wrong thing for the wrong reason. You do the wrong thing for the wrong reason. Don't let that Gnostic nonsense be a problem. Don't let that Gnostic nonsense influence you in any shape, form, or fashion. It's a lie. A bunch of heretics, a bunch of Jewish heretics standing around gonna teach somebody to be a Gnostic. There's no such thing. There ain't no such thing. There ain't no such thing as a Gnostic. No Gnosticism. Because they were heretics. The Jewish community already know it's one supreme being. They already knew that. But these individuals gonna say it's another deity beneath the supreme being. The clumsy God. The demiurge. The material world's evil because he made it. That's where all this same-sex stuff come from. That's where all this sexual depravity come from. That's where it come from. lesbian, gay, bisexual, what's other? Transgender, transsexual. What else? They got some other stuff. What? I think they non-binary and asexual. Something. All man, they just make up. They go on and on and on. Just go on and on and on. But see, all it is lie on top of lie on top of lie. They even went so far talking about embryos and fetuses. You know what I'm saying? See, all they be doing lying. All you doing is lying. That's all you doing, lying. And then had the nerve to not only to have anal sex, but actually have anal sex and broadcast anal sex. And broadcast. Like there's nothing to be ashamed of. Yeah, that's the attitude people. There's nothing that you got to be ashamed. Everything out in the open. You can do any and everything. You ain't got to. But here it is. You want to talk about it's a God. And then there's another God beneath that God. Don't let that Gnostic nonsense continue to be a problem. Because it ain't no such thing. It's a lie. See, individuals coming up to Chicago and individuals running their mouth, trying to make a name for themselves and all this. Didn't nobody need to hear nothing you had to say. That's the reason why I read what I read again, just to make sure that nobody need to hear. You just got to read conservative vice law. Didn't nobody need to hear nothing about no unity in the neighborhood. Nobody need to hear nothing you had to say. See, the problem with a lot of people, you didn't want to listen. That's what I've been constantly telling you over and over. You didn't want to listen. When somebody tell you what's right, you ain't want to listen. Just like that damn saint, the Roman saint. You ain't want to listen to Evan Perry. The same individual was a conservative white lord, but you ain't want to listen. Where they at today? They don't exist. You ain't want to listen. That's the reason why you got some individuals walking around talking about they supposed to be vice lord, supposed to be folk on a hustle, supposed to be this and that. The reason why you having all the problems that you have, because you didn't want to listen to what somebody tell you what's right. You ain't want to listen. Now look what you're doing. Now you want to claim that you want somebody to come and try to get in between. Now you want some peace. Hell, you could have had peace if you had to listen to Evan Pepperlo Perry, Bobby Gore, the old head, and Alfonso. They told you. They had already told you. But you didn't want to listen. Niggas walking around talking about supreme gangster. Yeah, the word gang mean go. The word gang mean go. Then out there in California, Los Angeles, California, same damn thing. A bunch of individuals out there in California being misled, trying to be a gangster. word gang mean go. Word gang mean go. But see, it's a new year. See, that's the reason why I do the things I do. And see, and then when I do the things I do, I continue to tell you from this point on. That's the reason why it's important to do background checks. It's important to do background checks because it was individuals in the past. You need to identify to the best of your ability that blood gang, that crip gang. You need to identify who, what, where, when, and why. Do background checks on people in the past. Do background checks on people in the present, as well as in the future. You need to identify. You need to know who these damn people was. They were talking about some crip gang, some blood gang. Who the hell was them people? Since they talking about a gang, well, you should be trying to identify any and everybody that you can. Like them dead niggas that's in the graveyard. Since it was a gang war, well, who was them? It's like this Ronald Watson nigga, he got killed. Eventually, this Tookie Wisdom nigga, he got executed. Who is he? Who is the Pyru boy? Who is them? Who the Brims? Who is them? You need to know. We need to know everything. Niggas be walking around like somebody impressed with the Crip gang and the blood gang. Nobody care nothing about you, man. Give a damn about you, dumbass nigga. Where a gang mean go. Then you got these bitches from the East Coast going around in Los Angeles, California, talking about they in the blood gang, the Crip gang, then trying to live in other parts of the country. You need to make sure you do background checks on people in the past. You do background checks on people in the present. You do background checks on people in the future. It's important. You don't never do that. You don't never just sit on your ass and just walk around. No. Information is important. You do background check on people in the past. You do background checks on people in the present. You do background checks on people in the future. No, you ain't getting away with that. No, hell no. No. And then I be walking around, no. Hell no. Because, see, you know, the reaction. You know, you react, you know, and you're supposed to. Hell no. No damn bitch ass nigga from no East Coast be walking your ass around. No. And talking about a damn hoe? No. Who the hell over? See, that's the same thing I be telling you. You don't be letting people get away with that Gnostic nonsense. That's what I be trying to get you to see. You don't, no. Talking about a damn hoe walking around. Talking about you the queen pin. Come on, man. A damn hoe. That's the reason why you do background checks on people in the past. You do background checks on people in the present. You do background checks on people in the future. No. Like I told you, hey, the reaction you gonna get, the reaction you gonna get. What time is it? Oh, okay. I got a few more minutes. I'm gonna get ready to shut it down. But see, it's too important. See, it's the beginning of the year, 2026. Like I told, from this point on, no, man, no. That's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm telling you, you can't be still sitting around talking about no damn Gnostic. It's 2026, man. You can't still be sitting your ass around talking about no damn Gnostic. It was wrong. You trying to keep from getting, trying to save your neck and all that. No, man. There ain't never been no such thing, and it never will be. Never have been, never will be. But that's the reason why I do the things I do. Because I knew once you identify the problem, you don't let that be a problem no more. And that's what you got to do. You got to identify the problem, and you got to stop letting it be a problem. And then, see, just like we talking about time. See, we got all the time we need. You ain't got to be in no hurry. It ain't got to be no overnight thing. But you got to start somewhere. It got to be a start. It got to be a start when you got to stop this. No, you can't do that no more. No. Now, it was in the past being denied education. But in this day and time, they don't keep on being no damn excuse. No. Got all these damn libraries. Take your butt over to that damn library and get you some books to read. But you can't let that be a problem. You can't let that be a problem. That's the reason why I do the things I do. Because you can't let that be a problem. All right. You make sure you do background checks on people in the past. That blood gang, that crook gang, you do any and everybody that you can. You identify any and everybody that you can. You do background checks. You don't let no mother walk around and think they can walk their ass around. No. Because you ain't nobody. And when you identify them, that's what you do. Man, them ain't nobody. Who the hell is running? He ain't nobody to me. Who took it with? Nobody. He ain't nobody to me. And they go for the rest of them bitches. He ain't nobody. Because I guarantee you, I know, I see where he came from. He ain't no damn body. That's what you do. You do background check on people in the past. You do background check on people in the present. You do background check on people in the future. Don't let that Gnostic be a problem. Because it ain't no such thing. It ain't no such thing. And it ain't no damn body to be walking around and being intimidated by. Now these damn police cars riding around, that's the very reason why some of these bitches still walking around now. Your ass ain't dead. Because the police, as mad as I am, I've been and got you. I got to crawl now. Want to get you now. I got to crawl. Talking about some bitches from the East Coast. All right, okay. Well, them police cars riding around, that's the only reason why your ass walking around. That's the only reason. The police. I won't want to take that goddamn mess off nobody. And I'm still not going to take it. I just got to crawl. So conservative vice lord, don't let it be a problem. Don't let nobody make you think you doing something. No, it's just like that folk on the hustle. Look, you don't let no. I'm telling you, you ain't got nothing to be shook up about or intimidated about and trying to use some other. See, I be sitting here watching. See, you're not by yourself, like I've been saying over and over again. You're not by yourself. See, I be watching. See, like I told you a long time ago in the past. See, it was things I did that nobody know. I was watching right then and there. I already knew what the circumstance, I already knew what the situation was. I was watching. I knew. So you don't have to tell me. I know what individuals thought they were going to get away with. I know. That's the reason why I do the things I do. Because I'm showing you, no, you ain't getting away with nothing. Because I ain't going to let you. I'm not going to let you. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to let you do a damn thing. And I'm going to show you. I mean that. I'm not going to let you do nothing. That's what I'm going to say. And I'm going to show you. I don't give a damn about you. See, that would be, I be walking around mad. I be walking around mad. I be wanting to get your ass. Bitches be talking about you don't know them, but bitch, I'm saying the same thing. You don't know me. You don't know Eric. It was me. Set your ass up, bitch. See, you ain't even see what I was doing. Setting your ass up. Because I was watching you. And when I was watching you, I knew. That's the reason why I did the things I did. I intentionally talked about gangs. Because I knew your bitch ass was walking around. You ain't even see what I was doing. I ain't say nothing about no Nazi. I just kept talking about gang. I was setting your bitch ass up. It was a setup, bitch. That's what I wanted you to do. Because I want to get you. It was me. Eric. See, you don't know me. I set your bitch ass up, G. It's just like reading the Bible. Jesus said, turn the other cheek. I intentionally read the Bible. It was a setup, bitch. Because I was out to get you. And I'm still out to get you. I want to get you. It's a setup. It was me. It was Eric. Because see, I knew. I was watching you the whole time. And when I saw, I said, oh, okay. Gnosticism. Oh. Coward bitch. Dick sucking faggot. I know. Broadcasting anal sex. I know. That's what I be wanting the conservative vice lord to see. I be wanting you to see. Anytime you see a bitch walking around and they broadcasting anal sex, out of all things, broadcast anal sex. And then the thing about it, how many views they get? Apparently they get a lot of views. Yeah. Them be the same. Hey, them be the same one that be going around talking about they smashing and grabbing. They some G's. See, Hollywood got it right. When they put that wire on there, see, Hollywood wasn't just throwing some junk up on TV, you know. No, they were telling you the truth. Some tongue kissing, man kissing gangsters. Oh yeah. Booty fucking. They got it. They were telling the truth. Yeah. They were telling the truth. Gnosticism. still got my harmonica with me. But see, this is the first of the year. I had to make sure you know what I'm saying, I got to do this. I got to do this. Because I ain't finna let nobody get in my way. It's too many opportunities. Too many opportunities for me. You know, it's too many opportunities. And I ain't finna let no bitch ass faggots get in my way. No, you ain't finna do that. No, you ain't finna never do that. And then think I'm gonna sit idly by. No. There's one thing Eric ain't finna sit idly by, and Eric ain't gonna take it. Good time. Yeah. Like I said, I got my harmonica with me. And before I end today's video, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I ain't forget about Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke. That was the most unjust thing I ever came into the knowledge of, the death of Sam Cooke. I got a copy of his autopsy. Now this is the verdict of the coroner's jury in the matter of inquisition upon the body of Sam Cooke. They said they said that it was justifiable homicide. No, it was first degree murder. I got the autopsy right here. But I want to make it at the beginning of the year. See, I don't forget. I don't forget. So I make sure I leave it in my video. You know, I don't forget. Now, before I end today's video, and I'm gonna take a little moment with my harmonica. Then I'm gonna end today's video. Now, there's a lot of opportunities for me. So when I have my harmonica or whatever, they go for anything. You can be singing, telling jokes or whatever. Plenty of opportunity. When it comes to my harmonica, I just need to practice. I need to practice, but you know. Now, I know I need to practice. But you mean, this New Year opportunity there. I ain't finna let no opportunity slip by. And so, just practice. But I mean, I gotta work things out in between working and all that. But, point is, just gotta practice. Now it's time for me to get ready to end today's video. And did I tell you the joke? Oh, come on, man. Before I end my video, did I tell you the joke about the guy with the pickup truck? I ain't tell you about the pickup truck. The guy had the pickup truck. I tell you what, I know, man. Look, man. The guy, he got his pickup truck, and he goes to the bar, and he give his keys to the bartender. And he tell the bartender, I'm going to give you my keys. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give me some couple of drinks. So he give the keys to the bartender. The bartender says, okay, guy, what you have? So he gave the guy a drink. And, he come to the bar to get him some drinks. So this guy, he gets him some drinks. And he then messed around and got loaded. And he had already gave the bartender his keys to his truck. So the bartender, he tell the bartender, give me my keys. And the bartender said, no, I'm going to call you, no, you give me my, he gets upset. The bartender trying to scuffling and tussling with the guy, trying to get him to calm down. He drink, he ain't want to hurt the guy. He's a regular at the bar and everything. He comes in, but he's just trying to get the guy calm. He done had a few drinks and everything. So the bartender said, I'm going to call him. He said, forget it. So he told the bartender, forget it, man, forget it. So he then left the bar. The bartender don't know where he gone. And so the bartender, nothing he can do. The guy then left, messed around, and next thing the bartender know, the same guy. Yeah, he even got drunk. The bartender didn't know he had another truck. he didn't got drunk. And when he got into his other truck, it crashed his truck into the side of the bar. The bartender didn't know he had another truck. Oh boy. Okay, let me go ahead and end today's video, man. Ooh boy. Oh, okay. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also known. I live right here in the city of Memphis. It's in the county of Sheriff, in the state of Tennessee. Look, I thank my family, my support for continuing encourage support, and don't let that nonsense be no influence on it. Just like Rabbi Akiva, just like the Catholic Church, they don't condone it. So read the Holy Bible. Don't let that nonsense be an influence on it. But continue. I thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Son of God, for all the blessings and guidance it provides me as well as all of us with. And continue, to pray about natural disasters and continue to pray for peace around the world. We need world peace. You know what I'm saying? We need peace. We as human beings, we need peace. We as human beings. We need to have peace with one another. Because we're human. When we see each other as being human, instead of seeing each other as a skin color or hair texture or how tall we are, how short we are, how thin or how why we are. We see ourselves in all these superficial ways instead of just seeing each other, ourselves, as a human being. We're human beings. And we should treat one another as human beings. And so we'll come back on my next video and pick up where we left off. And I'm gonna try to get practice in as much as I can. Besides, once I get out of work, but eventually I'm gonna get better and better. Just I had to work my practice in, to the best of my ability. Like I said, this weekend I had to work on Saturday, so I had to adjust my schedule, my time, and everything. But irregardless, I still made my video. It's the first video for this year, so I wanted to make sure I do the things I did. So it ain't no problem. I ain't worried about being nighttime or whatever. It was more important to me to make my video, and so I'm gonna come back on my next video and keep moving forward. So you take care of yourself, and I wish each and every one of you very best.